What's up, Wildlife Builders? Siege here, and for this video, we are going to talk about Xayah. Xayah is a Vastayan revolutionary of deadly precision. She uses her speed, guile, and razor-sharp feather blades to cut down anyone in her way. Xayah fights alongside her lover, Rakan, to restore the race to its former glory. Xayah is a highly mechanical ADC which has great potential in both 1v1 and team fights. First, we are going to talk about her abilities. Her passive is Clean Cuts. When Xayah casts an ability, she stores feathers, which makes her next auto attacks pass through enemies. The main target receives 100% damage, while all secondary targets are dealt reduced damage. You can try to angle your attacks to hit the enemy while you last hit minions, but the secondary damage is minimal, especially in the early game. In the late game though, this passive will allow you to deal massive AoE DPS against the enemy. Keep in mind of the position of your feathers so you will know how to position yourself best before activating your blade collar. Additionally, Xayah has a secondary passive, Lover's Leap, which allows her to recall together with Rakan. You can wait until the very last moment to hitch on Rakan's recall. Her first ability is Double Daggers. Double Daggers is your poke and initial setup for your feathers. This is the most reliable way to drop feathers and get charges for your passive. If you want to do an instant route, you can use Double Daggers plus Blade Collar. Cast Double Daggers, auto attack once, then immediately cast Blade Collar afterwards. Although, it is more reliable to do the auto attack first if you already have stacks of feathers beforehand. Double Daggers does less damage after the first enemy it hits, so make sure to hit the enemy champion you are trying to burst down first. Next is Deadly Plumage. Deadly Plumage is Xayah's third ability. This ability increases her attack speed, attack damage, and movement speed. The only problem with this ability is that it is limited by a long cooldown. It's justifiable given how strong it is. The movement speed bonus only activates after hitting an enemy champion. If you activate it at the wrong time, the enemy will simply kite you out until Deadly Plumage duration ends. To prevent this from happening, activate Deadly Plumage while an auto attack is mid-air, so that once the auto attack hits the enemy, the movement speed bonus will activate. Her third ability is Blade Collar. Blade Collar is Xayah's main source of burst damage and crowd control. She can either use it to quickly root an enemy with the help of her Double Daggers or ultimate Feather Storm. Keep in mind that the enemy has to be hit by at least 3 feathers for the root to take place. Xayah can set up massive AoE burst damage and root by scattering her feathers through her auto attacks and abilities and waiting for the right moment to activate it. If you use your ultimate Feather Storm for the root, make sure that the distance between you and the enemy is less than the maximum range of Feather Storm, so the root will surely take place. The closer you are to an enemy, the easier it is to land more feathers and therefore more damage. It is possible to redirect the feathers while it's returning to you by using Flash. You can do this to cover more ground to damage and root enemies that won't be hit otherwise. Finally, Xayah's ultimate is Feather Storm. Feather Storm makes Xayah an extremely effective counter to assassins and divers because it turns her untargetable for a short duration, then lays down 5 feathers that are immediately usable for her Blade Collar for the additional damage and root. Keep in mind that the untargetable status does not make her invulnerable. She can still die through an Ignite already casted on her, or through Zed's Death Mark if he had already dealt enough damage. Next is her combos. Xayah can do instant roots with her Blade Collar through these 3 basic combos. First, instant root. Double Daggers, auto attack, Blade Collar. Next, instant root. Deadly Plumage, auto attack, Double Daggers, Blade Collar. Third, instant root combo, Feather Storm plus Blade Collar. And finally, her all-in combo, which goes like this: auto attack, Deadly Plumage, auto attack, Double Daggers, auto attack thrice, 2, 3, Feather Storm, auto attack, Blade Collar. Next, let's talk about Xayah's items. Infinity Edge grants a large amount of attack damage, so your abilities will do better damage early since Xayah's abilities scale on bonus AD. The bonus critical damage also works well with Deadly Plumage, bonus attack speed, and bonus damage. Ionian Woods of Lucidity helps Xayah cast her abilities more often. The ability Haste is important for her since she is an ADC who heavily relies on her abilities. Upgrade with a Quicksilver enchant as your defensive options against crowd control, or you can upgrade with a protobelt enchant if you are feeling confident for the additional mobility, more coverage for your blade color, or simply for the styling points. Rapid Fire Cannon helps Xayah land her first auto attack easily with the additional bonus range. Landing the first auto attack is important so she can easily access the bonus movement speed from her deadly plumage or to quickly root the enemy. Bloodthirster is another item that grants a huge amount of attack damage, and it also provides a sizable amount of physical vamp, so you'll be able to sustain yourself in fights. Mortal Reminder counters champions with a lot of armor and champions who build sustain or has natural healing capabilities thanks to its Grievous Wounds effect. Guardian Angel is a safety measure for the late game. Enemies would try to burst you down since you are extremely strong in the late game, and with the Resurrect passive and the untargetable status from your ultimate, you'll be extremely hard to take down. Last but not least, let's talk about Xayah's Runes. Conqueror grants a stacking bonus damage on your attacks and abilities, and since Xayah attacks fast, she'll easily earn the max stacks that will make her blade color hit so much harder. Fleet Footwork is a great alternative against tough lanes. Next is Gathering Storm, which allows Xayah to build up more AD for the later stages of the game. Regeneration increases her sustain in the laning phase since her early game is a bit on the weaker side, especially against long-range ADCs and poke-heavy enchanters. And Sweet Tooth increases the healing received from honey fruits and makes them grant a little bonus gold. The little bonus gold will help her reach her first core item faster. That's all for this video. For the in-depth tech Xayah guide, visit our website lolwildriftbuild.com. There, you will find out additional information like Xayah's pros and cons, ability progression, early game and late game guide, her synergies, and her counters. Know all that by clicking in the link in the description below. Thank you for watching, and until next time.